Hello and welcome. This is the first of a new video series I'm starting that is about marketing as an indie author on a budget. So the whole point behind this is that often the marketing tactics that we see encouraged to us as indie authors require quite a budget. Like when people talk about Facebook ads, for example, especially like direct sales ads, that's often presented as you need to be budgeting, spending at least $20 a day, which for many of us just might not really be practical. So the idea behind this is that I am setting aside $25 a week. That is my marketing budget to work with. It doesn't mean that I'm going to do something each week that is paid. It just means like I'll do these videos once a month. So it might be something that I spent $100 on. It might be something that I spent $50 on. It might be, spoiler alert for this video, it's something that was free. It might be, I might save for a couple of weeks, roll it over to the next month, and then I might have a $150 budget. So I'm going to share these things to kind of look at what might be helpful, what might be able to move the needle without breaking the bank. So to start with, I'm going to throw this back to me a few days ago, setting up this first video, what we're going to be doing. Like I said, it's a free thing that I'm doing, and then I will come back at the end to let you know how it actually went. So today is August 10th, 2026, and there is an event going on today called Stuff Your Kindle Day, or we could say Stuff Your e-reader Day, because it does feature other platforms besides just Amazon. This is the one hosted at romancebookworms.com. I've participated many times in the past, but I believe I hadn't joined one of these for maybe a year, maybe more. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to check my records. So today is the actual day of the event. I'm coming to you not having seen how it's been going so far or anything like that. I'm just coming right now to introduce it, and I'll check in tomorrow to let you know how it actually went. So I currently have 3 books that I've made free, the ebooks for. Because I'm a wide author, I'm doing more of a permafree strategy where I have the first in a series that is free with the goal that people pick up that free book, and then the read through to the rest of the series makes it a profitable strategy. Now this also, I guess I could be saying in this video, is another free marketing strategy, a free marketing tool, because what I've noticed with these 3 books that I made free, I didn't do anything after making them free. I didn't, do newsletter blasts. I didn't pay for any sort of promotions. I just made them free. And what I have noticed is that they get downloads every single day, especially on Amazon. In their various categories on Amazon, they tend to stay in the top 100, which helps get more downloads as they are more visible. So for me already, I've found it a very good tactic, just having these books be free. I do see some read through coming through already. It often takes time for the read through to come through, but I find it very helpful to have my books, these 3 in particular, just sort of hanging out in at least the top 5,000, I would say, in the overall Kindle free store. And yeah, like I said, hanging out in the top 100 in their categories. The number of downloads per day for each title really varies. It might be around 20, it might be more, might be less. I might put on the screen what it is, like once I go actually look at Book Report or KDP dashboard and just see what it has been for the past month, average it out per day for each title. So part of what I'm planning to observe today is just to see if this strategy is as effective as it has felt in the past. Certainly the books that I've featured in these Stuff Your Kindle Day events have been featured before, so they may have already gotten a certain number of downloads that they won't get today because those same readers aren't going to download them again. And I also did repeat a title because there has been some difficulty, some authors have reported lately, with getting Amazon to price match free titles for wide authors. And so I just chose from one of my perma-frees, and I chose the one that had been the longest time since I had featured it. So that's Pride, Prejudice, and Turkish Delight. It does have a lower star rating overall, although I have noticed it climbing up. I think that it initially at the beginning got a lot of free downloads in the first free promotion I did, and went to readers who weren't necessarily loving that specific like micro genre. Since then, I do think it has found its way to its ideal readers more so. But yeah, I just thought that it would be a nice choice to feature that one since, like I said, it's been, I think, a couple of years since it was included in one of these promotions. And I just look forward to seeing how its free downloads pop up today and what that means then in terms of paperback sales, what it means in terms of book 2 of that duet. I do think in the last month, if I'm remembering correctly, it was my highest paperback seller of my backlist, so that's kind of cool to see. But yeah, that's about all I have to say to set up today's experiment, at least. So I will report back to you later in the week with how it's going. Yeah, probably just sharing what the spike of free downloads looks like, because like I said, that is very, very exciting. All right, so it is a few days later, and that initial spike from the Stuff Your Kindle Day is kind of getting back down to sort of normal daily downloads. So yeah, a few things that I noticed. The downloads from this, it did max out, spread out over a couple of days. I would say it was about 800 copies of this particular book, which is significantly less than I've seen in the past. Like I think the first time I did it, it was like 3,000 books in a day, something like that. It was very exciting. This is still exciting, and I do still see a boost from it. So that book ended up being in the top 20 for its categories on Amazon free books, which is really cool. It did hang out like less than within the top 1,000 in the overall free Kindle store, which is also exciting. I think there's a number of factors at why, I didn't have 10,000 downloads or whatever. I think it's this book being featured multiple times before certainly plays a role. And also, I'm just not sure with these events in general. I'm really curious to hear others' perspectives and experiences, because I know for myself as a reader, a few years ago, I would get really excited about these sorts of events and I would go and download a bunch of books. And now, with a couple years of wisdom and looking back at what I've done, I see that like a lot of those free books are just sort of lurking on my Kindle and they're not necessarily getting read. And that might be mostly about me simply reading less because I am writing more. And the time that I would be spending reading, I am now spending on my own stories. I'm not entirely sure if that's the same for others. I mean, I see a lot of people talking about, wanting to fix our attention spans and things like that and finding it hard to read because they're spending more time consuming short form content. There's a lot of factors at play there. And it doesn't by any means mean that I am taking this to say like free events are a failure or even free books are a failure and I'm not going to do it. Not at all. I do enjoy participating in these events. And also, I am at this stage enjoying having some of my books, the first in series, as free books. It was a bit of a mental hurdle for me initially to give away my work for free because I thought, I spend all this time and effort creating it. Why am I now going to give it away for free? And yes, I do see that, the read through from a free book instead of like a 99-cent book or a full price book, it is significantly less because, like I said, a lot of those free books do lurk on Kindles. They do hang out there, maybe to be ignored forever, or maybe 10 years down the road someone goes, oh hey, maybe I should read this. That's not the point. I'm not saying I need to see a direct one-to-one correlation of you got book 1 for free, now you're going to purchase book 2 and book 3 and so on and so forth. The principle for me is that generosity feels good. It feels good to me now to give away my work for free and to trust that that is going to help people take a chance on me, sort of a lost leader, something that gets a foot in the door. So I'm going to keep doing that until someone comes to me with a better strategy, with something that can compete with it. Because in general, I think most marketing strategies that really move books, especially for wide authors like me, they do tend to require a marketing budget. And making a book free is, in my experience, the best free way to get visibility, to get eyes on that book. I'm really happy. I was just checking this morning to see the 3 books that are free are all in like the top 100, at least for their 3 Amazon categories. And that's great. In order to get that kind of visibility with them as paid books, I would have to be spending a lot of money on advertising. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go back to the drawing board and think about what sort of paid experiment I'm going to do for next month. If you have suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And yeah, I'll see you next time.